You are live. So, firstly, condolences to to everybody in the world, I suppose, who have lost loved ones, but mainly for Shelley and Troy. Um, I just hope that they have the family, the friends, the community to help them through this. Um, so this is a quick hope stream because work tomorrow. I don't get that much sleep doing these, but this is a quick stream for Josh. So thank you, firstly, Josh, um, for those, I suppose, compliments. But as I said before, give people enough rope and they will hang themselves, and tell lies, find the truth. Those sort of things are going on in the chase, and I like to wait until somebody gives me an opening before I make a point, as it were. And I'm sure this is all part of the chase. So I hope Josh doesn't take it the wrong way. I'm going to read this bit here. This is about Josh saying, to commit fraud, to commit fraud, to commit fraud, and me saying, I came onto this to prove that Forrest Fenn, did something amazing, and believe that he says, words don't mean what we think they do, and things aren't as they seem, and the contradictions and everything else that I've already talked about. And these words that you're going to hear now, I've already given you throughout the chase to try and counter the negative that's been said. So this is, let me go back just make sure, because some people tend to come in rather quick. I'll say hello to them first. Have to be patient because my computer's really slow. Oh, nobody here. Right. I hope that, well, there's 3 people here. I'm definitely going, so all good, all good. Hello, you people that are not writing, but are here. So this is commit fraud. These are the synonyms of that. And the words that you hear will be words that I've already given in the chase and in my videos from the beginning onwards. And some of the words I didn't want to give because I didn't want to give the impression that it was bad. And if Josh is right, then maybe, and Dave and Five Leaf and all those other people that make these statements without trying to look at the other side of the coin. So to commit Freudian slip, to commit fraud. So the pocket, there's something in the pocket. Rob. So this is a word, not you, Rob, but if you're in there, hello. Rob, which is a word that I gave you not so long ago to do with bereave and disinherit, which is totally different to commit fraud. Fraud. Don't I keep saying that. Take. Commit fraud in the canyon down. Just commit fraud and take the chest and go in peace, something or other. And commit fraud, the chest and go in peace. Lift. Abstract. So, warm up to it, otherwise it gets a bit commit fraud after that. Trouser. Hand in a cookie jar. Dip into the public purse. Liberate. So, antagonistic to freedom. So, if you commit fraud, then you liberate. It'd be nice, wouldn't it, to have freedom, to be liberated. Hook. As I think, am I the person that's doing this? Or am I the person that doing this? So hook, Forrest wanted to catch that fish. In order to do that, well, he commit fraud. Shoplift. Have we heard about that? Bone is to commit fraud. Maybe you should leave the bone. Take the chest. Cabbage. Yes, it's cabbage. Rifle. I wonder if that is a Red Rider. Walk. Not far, but too far to commit fraud. Dolt. Souvenir. Poach. To poach. Is that an egg? Or is it a rabbit? Does one go into the woods and poach? Jack. To commit fraud is to jack. Well, maybe Josh has a point. Or maybe things aren't what they seem. So Jack is commit fraud. But remember, it's also rob. Which is not the rob that you're thinking. A raid. Ever heard that before? A raid. Raid. A raid. So when the forest was raided, they committed fraud, did they? Bag. Runoff. Oh, hang on. Spring. Oh, you had a runoff just now, haven't you? The snow melts and you get the commit fraud. So while the snow is melting, it commits fraud. That's a bit weird. What if Forrest was to be kidnapped or abducted or keep? I can commit fraud my secret where? Finger for having writ, it commit fraud. Hold for ransom, commit fraud. Remember, Forrest, we're gonna to the dude, whatever. Hijack. Hey, DB Cooper, did you commit fraud? Maybe. Baby. Drain. I'm going to commit fraud the pond. Disinherit. I'm going to disinherit my possessions and commit fraud while I'm doing it. I'm going to bereave and commit fraud. I'm going to pirate because I wish that in my ancestry somewhere there is someone who commit fraud. Pirate. Press. Sequester. Did I commit fraud the chest? Is it then sequester or is it something else? Shanghai. Skyjack. The first skyjacking was committing fraud. Claim? Oh no. So Josh, Dave, Five Leaf, Bill, Barbara, everybody, you are all committing fraud, according to Josh, because you are all making a claim. Therefore, are things not what they seem? Are you all committing fraud? Are you all party to the same thing? Who is who? Smuggle. Ooh. The Smuggler's Cove or the Nook. Plough. These are all words that foresters use, scrapbook or whatever, or people have used in the chase just to say commit fraud. I wonder who will commit fraud. Chaos or embroidery? Help. I wonder who will help. Chaos, embroidery. I wonder who will commit fraud. Make claim to. Clap hands on. Get your hands on that chest. Hijack again. Ransom. Body snatch. Whoever heard that? More fraud. I don't know. Take as hostage. Carry. It's there in spirit. So to be spirit, you commit fraud. Uh-oh, that's bad news, isn't it? If it's there in spirit, it's there in commit fraud. And the last one, a moonlight requisition. Who were you with in the moonlight? Who was holding you so tight? So we have keep and take. Contradictions? Maybe. Pirates. A pirate. To commit fraud? Uh-oh. Pirate, I've given you a wrench. I trust that you won't commit fraud with it, though. I'm sure that is not your name. So, we're looking at the possibility that commit fraud is what this is all about, or the alternative is to believe that Forrest made a statement that said, to rob my grave. Oh, to rob my grave, to commit fraud, my grave, which is disinherit and bereave. And there's something in the pocket, so there's something in commit fraud. And it gets abstract. And it is take. You do have your hand in the cookie jar. And it is walk, not far, but too far to commit fraud. You do shoplift. There is a bone and a rifle and a cop and a cabbage. And a definite walk and a poach. Oh, I forgot the borrow. Beg, steal and borrow. And a remove and a jack. So to commit fraud is jack. Now you can either believe that this is all fraud, or you can believe that Forrest said it's too far to walk, and someone can, should they find the answers, rob his grave. What am I going to think? Well, bearing in mind the word pirate is there, and smuggle's there. Yeah, I think I'll go with the disinherit portion of that. Bill Gorman. Hey, Super Bill. Hey, Amy. Hope all is good at your end. How are you both doing? So that was commit fraud. And my take on it is it's not fraud. It's, words don't mean what you think they do. And, a group of people all claiming, which is another word for commit fraud, that they themselves are committing fraud, because commit fraud is to claim and to jack. So each is a jack. So Dave, man from the east, may be correct. He may be the finder because Jack is the finder, and Five Leaf may be correct because he is a jack. And sorry, Bill, you're a jack, and Barbara's a jack, and Trusted is a jack. I'm a jack. Davey B's a jack, because we all make claim and we all commit fraud. Or do we? Now, some of us like to believe that Forrest Burke Fenn, Major Forrest Burke Fenn, is an honourable man. And that doesn't matter whether you believe that the person you see did this or he is a front for another person who did this. The person that we believe is Major Forrest Burke Fenn told us whatever truth was meant to be told us in such a way that we didn't understand it. And whether that was a dare or not, I don't know. Possibly. That this person, Major Forrest Burke Fenn, could lead someone to the answer without telling them the answer. possible. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying it's possible. So Forrest telling us that words don't mean what you think they do, and nothing is as it seems. Who will help me? Is there a pirate in my, I like to think that there was a pirate in my family or something. However that quote goes. And, the person can rob my grave. And all these words that are part of committing fraud. But in my mind, Forrest saying, can I make it happen the way it's supposed to be, means either there is a foreknowledge, does that make sense? A forward knowledge of events, or Forrest had a plan. Now, Forrest says don't make plans because it's antagonistic to freedom, which could be liberate. So no plans because they're antagonistic to freedom. So therefore, if he's not making a plan to do this, how is this going to come about? Forrest doesn't want to make a plan. So either already knows, or he did make a plan for this. Tell me when. I can't tell you anything in that regard, to be fair, Bill. The problem with the chase is it's hard to know what is real and what isn't. And whilst I have no reason to disbelieve that, my first thought was to look in the poem and see if the poem said anything about this, because if Forrest did have foreknowledge, foreawareness, however that is, then I'm sure, out of respect to Troy, he would have put that in there. But I'm reluctant to try and find that. Although, I don't know. I feel just at the moment, to lose two people in the chase that are, people that have been in the chase a long time is hard to take, to be fair. And I'm sure there are others, that we're unaware of. I think you told us that, but you've added a bit more to it, Bill. Sore lose a bit. Don't remember saying that before. So this stream is because Josh used some of the words that I was saying, but then, whilst it may have implied, I did try and use my words carefully, saying that it was mainly the community's words, the fake, the fraud, whatever. It's not really they're not my thoughts, because I tend to lean the other way, that it's, Forrest said if you find it, you can rob his grave. And those are the words that mean commit fraud. And that may be what we're being told. It's about rob, it's about disinherit, it's about those things, and it's not about committing fraud. But that has to be who will help, which is a word that is commit fraud, chaos and embroidery. So the chaos is definitely the fraud, because people don't understand what's going on, and it's a crazy place. This is in my opinion. Don't all start shouting and screaming and say, no, you're wrong. I may well be wrong. So chaos is all this fraud that people are talking about, and the embroidery is possibly the bit that brings it all together, the bit that has the epic and the fun and those sort of things that come later on. With the information that Forrest gave, there had to be a go. There had to be, Forrest leaving. And that line could be used in lots of different ways, but there had to be that point. Then there had to be, the trove part. There had to be two separate parts. So, maybe there are two poems in one. Maybe there's a simple poem in that poem, and then there's a difficult but not impossible in the same poem, maybe. Or there are other ways of looking at the fact there are two poems. Hey, Paul, how are you? Good to read you. Thanks for that comment you made. The thing is, it's easy for me to just, rose-coloured glasses is one of the synonyms. But I don't look for rose-coloured glasses, because when I do the synonyms, I see the bad and the good. And then I try to work out how each relates to the other. And whilst I can 100% agree, that their aim is to commit fraud, it's not necessarily for the reasons that people think it is. So whilst looking on the dark side, you can see the light, you can still see the light. There's still a tunnel, there's still light at the end of it. And, it might help if you burn the candle at both ends. Zozo, how are you? Yes, I'm across the pond. And I don't, fancy swimming it much, to be fair. And that was another word in there, drain. It's hard to believe that those words, me taking flack, drain the pond, think nice thoughts, before the find, were just coincidental. There's no way that those words came out just before the find. Well, maybe months or two before the find, and then people think it's a shit show, and that there's fraud going on, and it certainly looks that way, but only if you choose to look at it that way. Now, the reason I'm saying it now is because I think we're nearing the end, rather than if I started saying this 3 years ago, then we could be in a different different place now. And I'm not trying to convince anybody that I, we, Davey, B, and me are the solvers. I'm trying to convince people that if Forrest says I can do that, then Forrest is going to do it. You better believe that he can do it. And nobody's going to get in the way. And the planet, even though he says he doesn't make plans because it's antagonistic to freedom, he countered that by saying when we make plans, we make sure we always have an out. So plans are made. And to say I try to think of everything, again, is a plan. So I think Forrest thought of everything that he could think of to make it happen and end up at a place where even memory hasn't been. And if that looks bad and it looks like there is fraud going on, then I think he was fully aware that that was the case, that people would think that. But that didn't stop him. So he obviously has a way to counter all of those statements that people make, including Dave. Now, I was talking to Evan Walters. The statement that Dave makes in his video pretty much says that he's making up his soul as he goes along, because it doesn't make sense. There was no cross there when I first went there, but I found the exact spot. Found the exact spot. Somebody had been digging there, but there's no cross. And then he went back and there was a cross. And then that cross is the reason why he got the soul. Well, you found it without the cross and without all the other stuff. And then each time you put a video out, I lift a different bit and a different bit, and you're thanking this person for that bit of information, this person for that bit of information. You took a good solve in Wyoming, the little brown signs, and you borrowed that piece of information. It's like, It doesn't make sense. And like I say, I can't say he's wrong, but who knows? The first smartphone was a shoot. Right, I have no idea what that means, Bill, but I thought the first smartphone was in the Charlie Chaplin film, where that woman was walking across and she was on a smartphone. Well, that was the first one. Who was never sworn in? Oh, Jack, exactly. Jack is a joker. Yeah, and that's the whole point. So, the commit fraud is Jack. But how, if you go the whole length of that, it's to get to the rob and the bereave and the disinherit and all the other stuff to help and all the other words that are in there because they all mean to commit fraud. So, at what point, I'll go back to the party that you're trying to give to somebody as a surprise. Whilst you were trying to do this surprise party with these surprise people and these surprise gifts, you're, staying out late, you're putting the phone down when they walk in, you're meeting women at different times or men or, them or they or whatever it is that I can say. And, your other half, whoever it is getting upset at how you're sneaking behind their back. And then you have the surprise party and all's forgotten. Because all those bad things can be explained, and what they were thinking was incorrect, and that's why I think the chase is. And I could be wrong. I don't admit that. I don't say that I'm not wrong. I say I'm trying to prove that Forrest was right or correct with the information that he gave us. Now, if it proves out that I am incorrect, I will be as shocked as somebody finding out that they didn't solve the poem and they didn't find the chest. I'll be as surprised as that sort of person, because I tried to think of everything that Forrest tried to think of, if that makes sense. So I was trying to follow Forrest, walking his footprints, and hopefully backwards engineer what he made. So, what's the word? If you build something, deconstruct. So he felt like an architect and he built the poem. So I tried to deconstruct it in lots of different ways because I don't know which was the right way that he made it. But he also added that he crafted it. So I was trying to work out how he could craft a poem and build a poem at the same time. Which bit was the crafting part and which bit was the building part. Where were the foundations? And even them are in the poem. The lintels and all that, they're in the poem with some information as well. So I forgot to talk about that one, but it's definitely there. He is a shield, yes, and that is a good program. Is it executive producers? I have to talk about that. I don't know. I don't know the executive producers. So, but it is, whilst people are in the chase, which was given for nothing, and while people think that they're owed something, even though they're not, if you have faith in the person that set this up, then you know that Forrest would never have left it like this if there wasn't a reason. So this was planned, even though it's antagonistic to freedom. This was planned, and this was meant to, do what it was meant to do. And it was meant to do a lot of things. And, in my opinion, it was meant to test, really test whoever was going to solve this. And he wasn't joking when he said you need metal and resolve. And you have to shift, drift, and adjust and adapt and a whole load of other things that you couldn't just claim one thing. You had to learn all of it, and you had to try to understand it. And like I said, you could, if I'm wrong about this poem having all this information in, I I don't want to believe that I'm wrong, because there are other people like Tim, like Queen, like Dutchman, Colitis. Those people found Steve GTA, um, someone whose name I keep forgetting, but did it way before I even came on the scene, so people tell me. I can't remember their name. I'm sorry for that, but somebody says that somebody was doing this sort of thing ages ago. I've never seen them, never know. But those people found stuff in the poem, so it must be in there. It must be in there. Has to be. Why are all these different people finding different information in different ways, and the same information in different ways? So it must be in there. And how it was done, I have no idea. But I do know that it was done. Yes, get them thumbs up, me or everybody else. Cheers, Paul. Yeah, I haven't done this for subscribers, and I haven't done it for thumbs up, but thanks, all those people that do thumbs up and have subscribed. I've done it because my naivety, when I can't remember if I came out of it before the chest was, so I came out of it before it was found, before the announcement came out. So I was out of it before the announcement was made. But then when the announcement was made, the cold that I was expecting was way worse than I was expecting. Like, I wasn't expecting people to be that negative towards Forrest when it was found. Now, I admit I was naive then and angered, especially Barbara's first. The first bit was Barbara doing what she did, and then brutal truth and all those people. I'm thinking, what? There's this is genius at work. This is, and you people are making out like it's some conman who's ten a penny. So I came into it a bit naive, thinking that these statements were real. And then as the chase went on and the chaos became more, and it was easier to understand all these people that are in the poem. The names that came up are in the poem, and people would disappear and different names would come up, but they'd be in the poem as well. It's like, oh, the anger subsided, and it was more a case of, oh, so they're playing this role. But some of the roles, went over the line. Frank comes in here sometimes, and he'll tell you. I sent him a comment that was like, if there is supposed to be chaos, there must be a limit to some of the things that you can do. Otherwise, when you're on the internet and you're making out that these bad things that you do, people take for granted that it's okay to do it. If you're getting away with it, even the copywriting stuff, it's like these people do videos and play music, and nothing's said, nothing's done, nobody's making a claim against it or anything. Just crazy stuff. Well, I still, like I said before, yeah, and I agree with you, Paul Forrest. But I think Forrest is a great man. Whoever Major Forrest Burt Fenn is, and I don't think that will change, because there are still men who are thought of as great now, and they've passed hundreds of years ago. Not what that means. I think. Oh, very. I thought vert soon. What does that mean? Is it green? Yeah, very soon. Yeah, I believe that too. Yeah, well, So I don't think the solver's been left out. I think Forrest made a statement. It's to aid the finder, not the seeker. So I don't think the solver is or should feel left out, whoever they are, because they should know what's going on. So, or at least have an idea of what's going on. And if it is, for the estate to settle, for the court cases to settle, whatever that chaos part of it is, then why would the solver want to make any sort of claim before those things happen? Because that would be, folly, according to Forrest, using that word. But why, you know, and I don't say that they're either real searchers or not, but why would any, whether it be Five Leaf or anyone, try and make a claim for something before it's possible to have title without somebody saying, hang on, I think I deserve it because of this. So, in the chase, throughout the chase, there were people like Cynthia Dow, Justin, who did loads of trips and didn't find a chest. And to me, that's just incredible. That doesn't happen. You don't make, hundreds of trips and still make them and be a real searcher. It's not possible. It's not possible. Plus, you can't afford to make that many trips. If you can afford to make that many trips, then you don't need that chest that you're supposedly looking for. So that sort of convinced me that those people in the poem are meant to be in the poem. They're meant to be there, and they're there for a reason. The only concerning part was people like Jack Stoof and Daniel Barbarisi, they're quite young people. And for them to be in the poem, they must have been too young to be in the roles that they're in order to be part of the chase. So either Forrest had the plan for them to be those people, because he did make people into something they probably weren't, or again, he had foreknowledge. And that, I'm not insulting anybody, but Treasure Poem said, "What's Alison? What's Taylor, Alison Swift got to do anything?" Well, he said Taylor Swift, but she's in the poem. Her family's in the poem. She's part of whatever Forrest wanted people to understand about the chase. And DB Cooper's in the poem, so they're part of the chase because of that. And if you don't understand that, then maybe you haven't, you don't have the solve you think you have. Because rightly or wrongly, that information was there to be had. And if you don't understand it, then you're not getting the information that Forrest was given by guiding people to that information. So bringing up DB Cooper, because it's in the poem, Billy the Kid, he's in the poem. Alison, Taylor Swift, I keep calling Alison. Taylor Swift is in the poem. Even her middle name is in the poem. If I'm correct, I might be wrong. Yeah. It might be totally different name than that, but it looks like Taylor Alison Swift and her family. If that information is in the poem and if it's come out into the chase, then that's there to aid the finder, in order that the finder understands that the process, the path, the footprints that you're walking in, the one foot on top of the other, the shift and drift and the adjust, adapt, move with confidence, sure for the one that did, toe to toe, hope out of a depression, did the hot water effect with Tina, leave your friend in the car, so many miles west of Toledo. All that information was to help the finder understand the poem, in my opinion, and I could be wrong. And if you don't understand that information, then maybe you don't have the solve that you think you have. or that you're part of the process of commit fraud to help Forrest make it work. So, in my own mind, and I spoke to David, and he's of the same opinion. Forrest is more than a genius for being able to do this, and he is 100%, honourable in this chase. Now, whether Forrest, again, I'm not sure about the full knowledge, but talking of time travel, talking of aliens, talking of cryogenic labs in the poem, and other, strange stuff, the planets, the conjunctions, the map, not just of one place, but I don't know how it was done. The words, the letters in the poem were crafted, 100% crafted, and were built. To just have two pieces of information in that poem would have taken ages. Once you write the poem, then want to overlay it with different information, all those words change, or should change. But somehow Forrest managed to put those words in there and then give probably more than 500 different pieces of information in those six stanzas. Six stanzas, 24 lines. And that's just one way of reading it. Tim reads it differently. I've gone through that process. Try the Wheel is a slightly different process. Queen reads it, different process. Well, similar to what I do. Dutchman from the East, different process. Steve GTA, I'm not 100% sure, but he knows how to read the poem. The information in it is incredible, and I think Davy B's probably at the point I was when I was first reading it. A few swear words come when you realise what was done, and each time you read something differently, more swear words like that fucking way, and it's like he's taking the mickey out of it. Like he puts it right in front of you, and then like you have to laugh because it's like he knows what you're going to do, and it's like it's almost as like he's laughing at you just as you work it out, and then what he leaves. So you work out some information, and then what's left in front of you, you're like, oh no way, look what he's left there, just straight in front of you. And people say it's over, but there's still the bars, bells, jars, and in this last bit of audio, Shiloh says maybe you can hide it in the same place. Well, that's talking to something different. Has to be talking to something different. It's not talking to the same thing. If you're going to hide it in one place, that's one thing. But if you're hiding it in the same place, and that's being talked about after the treasure has been found, it has to be, promising new discoveries. And the bit at the end, which I talked about in my early videos, the I mean, not Idi Amin, I mean, which is basically saying synonym. I've said this word tenacity, but I mean confidence. I mean, which is in the book. I mean. And then he ended that statement with I mean. So was he saying have a synonym of, or was he saying, look at something else with regard to that? So, I mean really bad language. It's funny that I said that. Well, not funny because blah, blah, blah. I mean, funny because, so, are you supposed to look at those words and wonder what they are when Forrest says I mean? So I tried to think of the substitutes, and I believe that the information given is honest, not frank, but honest information. And whether it comes out, commit fraud or a bison crossing the Madison. Still honest information. It's still there to aid the finder and not the seeker. And I think Forrest made that for a specific reason. If you're just seeking, then you haven't found what you're supposed to be looking for in order to find what you're supposed to be looking for. That's just how I see it. Night Purple, happy dreams. Hi, Nikki. Good to read you. Yeah, there's no fraud. I've just been, before you came on, Zozo, I came in, I did commit fraud. So Josh used my video to try and highlight the fact that there might be fraud, which is a hope that I've said before. I tell lies to find the truth, and I don't mean that I tell lies. I mean I make a statement that people don't agree with, and then they tell me what they think is their truth to the statement that I make. So I made those statements, and then Josh used them as could be fraud, and then I've just done commit fraud, which is what he keeps talking about, is to commit fraud. And Forrest said, rob my grave, and commit fraud is to rob and bereave and disinherit and keep and claim and help. And those words that he's used in the chase that talk about how this is going to happen, or could be talking about how this is going to happen. So you can look on the commit fraud side of it, or you can look on the rob my grave side of it. And I came into this to do the rob my grave side of it, because that's what I think Forrest did. That's how brilliant Forrest was. And all those people that claim, commit fraud, that they have the chest, may be part of the making it happen. And that's been where I stood all along. The only thing that was puzzling was who in the zoo. Who was behind all of this, and who was helping Forrest make it happen? Who was a real searcher? Who was, part of chasing, called Chase Gov or Underground Chase or whatever you want to call it. That's how I saw it. We're on about Josh. Well, you see, that's just it. I don't. While he talks about all these things, he could be talking about, Forrest talking about disinheriting or bereaving, or talking about who will help, chaos or embroidery, or who will commit fraud, chaos or embroidery. Well, the chaos is committing the fraud, because that's what we're seeing. All this chaos is all about committing fraud, and the embroidery won't be about committing fraud. So, hopefully, anyway. So this was all about getting us to a point where the estate will be settled. This is just my opinion. The estate will be settled. Indiana Jones will have done his bit. McCracken will have done his bit. Dave Mann from the East will do his litigation. And again, that information is in the poem about Dave and Souls and the litigation. So, and Jack being a synonym of commit Freud. Why do I keep saying Freud? Fraud. Jack being a synonym of commit fraud. So I try to look at the words that I use and work out if they are Forrest Fenn words or real words. And most of the words are contradictory. So therefore you could totally believe that it was all negative, or you could totally believe that it was all positive, or you can be somewhere in the middle where Forrest was. Some of it is negative, some of it is positive, but in order to make it happen, so it has to be. It has to be that way. So while I don't condemn Josh or Dave or Barbara or anyone, Fively, who is talking about fraud, again, I go to, what's too far? Too far is, just making slanderous statements and calling people insulting names. If that's part of the chase, then it's not needed. What Frank did originally wasn't needed. What he's done now may be part of the plan. It may not be part of the plan, but in my opinion, it seems it might not happen without certain events taking place. How much of those events are Forrest ideas, or how much is improvisation? No, I'm not. But I'm also not the person who's having his head chopped off, I hope. Ooh, don't know about that. What gallery is it? See, what was I reading the other day? Success and guru. What word was that? Was that confidence? Might have been success and guru, the omniscient guru statement. And that was to do with tenacity. Forrest said, he ended up with a lady like Peggy because he wasn't sure of tenacity. And that could well send him into confidence. And those, confidence synonyms to all the other words that Forrest used in the chase. And I think that was part of the task we had, to try and understand those words that didn't make sense and understand why Forrest used it. See, now, that I don't get, because whilst what happened is outrageous and unforgivable, that doesn't excuse people to go looting and vandalising. That is just an excuse for themselves. And that detracts from the actual event that took place in the first place, the execution of the person. So, it's hard to agree with those people that do those things. I don't agree with it. You don't go robbing shops, and breaking things up to complain about what happened to a person. And even if you do, no one's going to listen to you. Thanks. Somebody likes my photo on Facebook. What happened is, I went to my mum's birthday, probably already told you, and I said that I didn't have any pictures of me when I was younger. So my sister said, "Oh, I've got some." So she gave them to me, and I put them on Facebook, at the time. And it's like, I can't remember half of these things I did. I can't remember even looking like that. So just got a message through saying they like the picture. You've got mail. Thank you. Yes, I just explained the. I can't remember looking like that. That thin with that much hair. Just that can't remember it at all. But I must admit, I didn't realise I was that good looking. But not that I'm thinking it, that people are saying it. But the only bad thing, yeah, you've got mail. That was Facebook. That was my internet that was telling me that Facebook had it. Yeah, people saying, like, weren't you good looking then? It's like, thanks. What are you trying to say? Didn't have to add the then. Like, you were good looking in them days, weren't you? You were good looking then. It's like, so what are you saying? Whilst it's a compliment, it doesn't say much about me now. Like, you could have said, oh, you were just as good looking then as you are now. But no, you were good looking then. Oh, thanks. So I'm thinking of going out and getting a wig. Trying to get my hair back. Yeah, we still do AOL. I used to be with AOL. Probably still have an AOL account. Yes, I still have an AOL account and a Gmail account. So yeah, AOL. Right, okay, I'll remember that. I don't do that many fortune cookies, but I might have a go at one just so I can do that and see what it says. Thanks for the tip, Zozo. How many times have you used that? Do I have to put it under there for 30 days though? Or can I use it straight away? If I put my fortune cookie under the bed for 30 days and then read it, because there's lots to think about. Sometimes I say silly things, but it helps to have a little imagination. Um, I think that there is a good ending to the beginning of the thrill of the chase. I think when people realise how good it is, it will be more of an adventure. Um, not just thinking about chest of gold in the Rocky Mountains. What the Bill? What was that? Any go to legal services, Chicago, Illinois, 800. No idea. No idea what that means. And if it's to do with the chase, I haven't seen anything like that in there. So no, don't know what you mean on that. Which is the first for me. Normally, I can sort of go, oh yeah. I think we've, excuse me, I think we've got more asylum seekers, refugees, whatever you want to call them now, whatever I'm allowed to say they are, than we've ever had. I think England might be sinking. There's too many people on there now. Like a little raft. I've just been talking about Taylor, Alison Swift. Um, Treasure Poem said that what's she got to do with Chase? The same as DB Cooper and everyone else that's been mentioned. So 13 isn't her lucky number. Shaking. Not sure what the last bit means. But who was it? Rick Novak. A song out, Sue Me for Looking So Pretty Tonight. It's like, gonna win that case. Easy. Gonna win that one. Yep, I'll sue. I can't see anyone chatting. I can read people chatting, but I can't see anyone chatting. The things I read in the poem make me think this can't be right. But then you read other stuff and you think, oh, it's exactly right. One thing I will say is Rick Novak puts pictures of pretty women. Don't know if he knows them yet. But he definitely puts pretty women. think Taylor Swift shows up in everyone's dreams. I was going to make a statement about, um, there'd be a lot of men that would sue, for that statement. But then I thought about it and thought, well, no, because there'll be women that say, why can't women? There'll be other people, she-males, transsexuals, pansexuals, blah, blah, blah. And I get in a whole load of trouble by, missing them out. So I thought, no, I'm going to bother. She's a pretty woman. There's a lot of people that are going to, want to sue because she's looking pretty tonight. So it goes. Wendy Darling, another person that's on Rick Nova channel. I enjoy that channel, and I'm not even sure who Rick Novak is, although some people have talked about being a he. And I did see a picture of someone that's supposed to be Rick Novak with black hair. I don't know if that's right or not, but he looked like a musician to me. Treasure chest is a wet dream. Well, not sure how you're going to go on there because you've got Taylor Swift in your dream and a treasure chest. So, which one are you choosing? And if you say the treasure chest, you want shooting. Absolutely. Well, it's just me, you, and Bill Zozo, by the look of it. Which is, not too bad. I get the feeling Josh might be in here. And, this is not meant to call Josh out. It's just meant to say, look, the information that you're given is, one side of the coin, and the information I'm giving is the other side of the coin. And it's the same coin, and it's the same information. You just have to have a different script. Excuse me. Trying to work this out. If we're reading that same word, those two words, commit fraud, and I read the synonyms rob, help, claim, bereave, disinherit, and you read, I can't remember the other versions of that. On the negative side of it, neither of us are wrong. Yeah. Hi, GDR. What do you mean now? There's always been as many as there have always been. And there's always been as many jars, and there's always been as many bells. So there's only been one chest because people in chest were only looking for one chest. It doesn't mean to say that there was ever only one chest, or one treasure, or one trove, or one whatever, riches, or whatever you want to call it. So if there was 100 chests at the beginning, there's still 100 chests. Not still 100 chests, but there was 100 chests. And if there was 12 or 10 or 6 or 1 or 2, then there was always that. It doesn't change at the end. It was always the case, in my opinion. Could be wrong. Back at the car. Yeah. Yeah, I have my own car. I sent Forrest a video of my car. It might be different than your car, but I still have my own car. So he lost his son, Wayne. GDR. In not too pleasant circumstances is the information that's been given. I put as my screenshot can't see the forest for the trees. Yeah, I tried to say earlier, my heart goes out to Troy, to Shelley, and anybody else. I think I've been in the chase too long that I'm wary of, opening up my emotions because, things aren't what they seem. Although I believe, you know, Troy must be going through a hard time, and Shelley must be going through a hard time, and there are probably others that we don't know about that are going through a hard time. And all I can wish is that the family, the friends, the community, help out in whatever way they can. We looked at. Well, I'm not sure how much. Okay, just be blunt then. Somebody shot Troy's kid. So the information that was on the news channel, just, I don't know. It's just heartless. Normally they don't give the information, who it is, how it happened. They wait until all the evidence in, wait until they've told the family, etc., etc., etc. It just seems very heartless the way that it was done. Although, the fact that it was Marion, which Marion was the first for, but then in the news report it said, the Florida patrol. What, as suspects, you mean, Bill? I don't think so. I think if you're a real searcher and you failed, you probably left. And if you're trying to make it happen, then you're part of the beginning. Now, I know most searchers say, well, I didn't come until 2013, I didn't come in until 2014, etc. But there must have been a lot of people in at the beginning when the Moby Dickens interview was done. Hi, Melinda. Chase 2. But I still think it's Chase 1, just the promise of new discoveries. Um, it's almost like Loran, the getting a message through with the pauses, getting to the spot, and Shiloh saying you could hide it in the same place. He's basically saying, look, it's another one that you could hide in the same place as you hid the last one, because they're definitely not talking about the find of the treasure. But it doesn't seem that way anyway. So, hopefully Appalachians. Forrest said it. I wish I had another treasure to hide in the Appalachians. The flies in Colorado. The impossible. I haven't looked at that yet. This boots on the ground laugh is not conducive to doing many treasure hunts, because financially, it tends to limit where you can go looking. What if it's a way to find the jars and bells? Exactly, the new discoveries sort of thing. So, but he did say you could hide it in the same place, which means another treasure in the same place, and then because that would be hide them in the same place. And that's potentially true. But as I've already said, my aim was not to try and find everything. My aim was to solve the poem and to help Forrest make it happen. And it was only when Forrest sort of made the statement that his family's taken care of. Because if there was an inheritance or anything of that ilk, that I didn't want to take it out of other people's, mouths. It's not what I'm about. So, if Forrest is going to give somebody something, it has to be, in my opinion, Forrest is going to give me something. If I was, the finder, the solve, whatever it is, then it has to be something that is going to be given to me and not something that's been taken from someone else to give to me. Big event. Well, that's something I say to Davey. Let me read this. Okay, I like that statement, Ghost Answer. Yeah, the solver would have to be notified, hopefully before the big event, because it would be a good feeling for the solver to sort of like watch the big event from afar. But it is what it is. Yeah, so I know what you're trying to say, but there would be the same places but different places, if that makes sense, if you understand that. I don't know how to explain it. I think you understand, Melinda, what I mean. So similar, the same treasure in different places, but the same place of those different places. I don't know. I know what I mean. So you are saying, well, if you're talking to me, Ghost Answer, I'd call him Forrest or Major, and no, because there was a simple solve and a difficult but not impossible solve. Maybe even a diabolical solve, because Forrest said he was diabolical, according to Matt DeMoss. So I'm saying if you listened to Forrest Fenn and heard the words that he was talking to us, then you would know that nothing is as it seems. And words don't mean what you think they do. And Forrest was being diabolical. And many other things that were said. So, Forrest was going to take it with him. That's what Douglas said. You're going to be the one that takes it with you. And, it wouldn't have bothered me if that was the case. He's not giving anything but him. Yeah, Forrest was always telling the truth and telling people, here's your answer, work it out. So basically giving you an answer, what I consider to be an answer, which is to aid the finder, He gives you an answer, but it's up to you to work out what that answer is. Got two daughters' birthdays on the 4th. Well, happy birthday to those granddaughters, or that granddaughter. The 4th of July, isn't it already? Big day for you people over there. Not just out in the open. Well, I believe there is a way to find it. I think me and Davey has already talked about it, but Forrest said he didn't even know where they were. But you go out into the desert, that was part of the answer, I suppose. 4200. That's coincidental. Yeah. Are we talking like needing a key sort of thing, or a bull or a bear or something? Wow, you've got a busy schedule there. That could make a good song. That could, Bill. Write a song about it. Sunday birthday, Monday birthday, Tuesday independence. Does that mean you're free on Tuesday? I'm snowed down on Sunday because it's a birthday, and I'm snowed down on Monday because it's a birthday. But Tuesday, I'll have independence. Hello, Mr. Ariel, sir. Hello, imagination. How are you, sir? I is well. I'm just thinking about going to bed. It's 23:40, not 24. What was that? 4200. Not 4200. Up in 5 hours. So have to close this down soon. It's work tomorrow, and it's the worst day. It's Sunday, and it is Jazz Fusion Day. And I can't stand Jazz Fusion. So I have 2 hours of mind-numbing music that makes absolutely no sense, with not many lyrics. Was that yeah right to me? You keyed in on that. I don't want his flies. From Ben. I wouldn't mind having his flies, but it'd mean going over there unless I bother to look into it and then ask Bill to go get them because I trust Bill. Numbers. Dial of Destiny. Interesting. Did anybody get anything out of that film? Look at some of the statements people make, I think. Hang on. So I got the impression, GDR, that you were not short of money and maybe would not need to buy a car that would need to replace 2 head gaskets. But if that's the case, 4,200. Don't know how much cars are over there, but I get another car. It's hard to say. It is a hard sell to say. Well, either predetermined or able to be affected. Those are the two things you have to think. I used to watch a program where they used to do like weird cars, come up with an idea. Someone would come up with an idea of what they wanted, and they would make the car around that idea. One of them was about a film, based on a film. What was that film? Pacific Rim or something? Is it that one? Nice car. Well, they're all nice cars. So. Yeah, and Richard Dean Anderson should have played Forrest. That would be great. Absolutely, 100% great. If if John Wayne was alive, I would say John Wayne, and then Harrison Ford, Clint Eastwood. I think Richard Dean Anderson would have played a great Forrest. Neat. Well, Q clearance. I'm trying to imagine that there is anything above Q, but like, do you get A clearance and it goes all the way up to Z? I don't know. We used to have a program called Z Cars. I wonder if it goes all the way to Z. Z clearance, Z clearance. That would be black and white, and zebra. Stargate was a good program, and they managed to have lots of spin-offs. Stargate Atlantis was a good program too. I'm just getting it to another planet. Yeah, okay, yeah. Open it up. Dial it in. Is that the Dial of Destiny, Bill? The Stargate. Which is a fancy new version of really the Time Tunnel. Can anyone remember that? You go for the Time Tunnel. I'm not too far away from Joe 90. Maybe being able to download stuff. Well, probably already doing it, to be fair. But these things the governments are doing that we don't know about. All the remote viewing, the time dilation, whatever you want to call it, from what happened at the Eldridge, which is in the poem as well. Another piece of information in there. Crazy poem, crazy. There's so much stuff that I've found in there that I haven't said, and nobody would believe anyway. I don't want to die on any day. I want to be able to transplant my head on a younger body. No, transplant my brain into my younger body. I'm pretty sure they can do that at some point soon, or if not already. Then I would have all the knowledge that I have, and I would have the body, my cloned body that I had before. I'd probably look after it a little bit better than this one. Or to the point where they could download the information that's in this brain into a younger body. Therefore, you become immortal to some extent, as long as you could keep the brain or the information alive. And you update the information. So you download the information that's in there now, and then you download a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more each time you download it. And then when the time comes that you pass, you get put into one of the clone bodies that you've had done. And you come back with all this information that you already knew, and you probably, I don't know, how old would the body be? Be some sort of age, about 16, I suppose. Man's body to be able to be able to move around in the world. The only thing with that then is, do you still keep all your birth certificates and passports and those sort of things. But you never know. Hey, trusted living, how are you doing? How you doing? Sound like flipping Rocky. You don't want to die on a day. How would you know? And how could you? I don't want. Ooh, what was that? Quick flash. They're probably hacking my computer again. There's nothing in there that I don't want people to know. So, yeah. Let's see. All good people. Could be worse. Could see dead people. Actually, someone probably can. So, I'm not going to go there. Okay. Is that from Simpsons? Who did that the other day? Oh, Ben. Hello, Dr. Nick. Fat Albert? Hey. I don't know who Fat Albert is. I thought that was Dr. Nick out of Simpsons. Or it's a stuttering Fonz. Hey. Or it's a weird DB Cooper using the ha as a A. You have hey. It's a logo. About 3 years ago. I cannot tell a lie either, trusted. You are not. You are fat. No. Always fat too. Spell. Are you on about your spell check, I think? You should have my problem because like, I try and write words that I think are English, and I'm not sure anymore because I've been looking at words that are American, and they're slightly different. So I'm spelling it. I'm thinking, hang on, is this the English version or the American version? And especially if you have like the computer that is set up for the US. Well, I don't really want to dwell on that, but I think it looks more like Frank, which is weird to say, but it's got a Frank look to him. Although I can see Troy there. If I didn't know the details and somebody showed me that, I'd say he was Frank's son. Or Shy Guy, or whatever these people are. I'm still waiting to find out what Bill's role is in all this, because I don't know. You got that look. Well, it would only be the case, Bill, if you knew where all these people lived, because most of the people in the chase don't let you know where they live. So, it's hard to have, if you're considering that there are suspects, any suspects, because nobody knows who lives in Florida. Well, you might do, but wow, visceral. There's a word I would never use. Just, thank you, imagination. Thanks, I appreciate that. And from someone such as yourself, it does mean a lot because obviously you're not. What's the word? There's a lot of words to be fair. I think not prone to bias. So you take the information that you um, get and process it and come up with the true solution to that information. So I appreciate the fact that you said I'm a good person because in this chase it seems that everybody's a bad person. About the Tash, I'm trying to get there, but I think I've shaved it off 4 times in my life because when you try and get it right, sometimes just go too far and it's like I need to get it all off. Otherwise, it looks like a Hitler Tash, and I don't do that. So I thank you for your statement and appreciate you coming and showing your support, especially someone who's deep thinking, searcher, using logic. You know, you could end up dead crying. Well, that was my thought about going into the poem. You talk about Wayne, the beach. See, I never know what is real information and what isn't real information, and whether it's true. Yeah, it's not really the time to make those statements, ghost stars. And that's beyond calm, isn't it? I wouldn't like to think it was me on my side. Anyway, as imagination of innocence has given me the idea of not being here, um, I think it's nearly the next day. Thank you. Yeah, I tried to. The whole point was to listen. Um, and my deductions may be incorrect, and I'm not, you know, going to try to defend them with all my might because they may be incorrect, and somebody else may be correct. But I don't just try and find one answer. If the answer doesn't fit, then it's wrong. That's how I see it, and that's why, when people talk about souls, when I say to them no, I don't mean their soul is wrong. I mean no, that for me, I can't see it, and I would not use it, which is my statement all along. It's somebody else's soul, and because I agree with it because it's in the poem, but it doesn't agree with the information that Forrest gave. So therefore, I tend to steer clear of it because of Forrest, not because of me. I don't see Troy posting. You mean now trusted? No, I think he's got better things to do than be anywhere near chat. We're losing his son, so. So he built, like, you come across unassuming and, in a van, or whatever you want to call them over there, mobile home, and then you talk about Men in Black. That's some life you've lived. Yeah. So, the thing with the chase is things aren't what they seem. And then you see a news report, police report, and, you know, the wrong thing to do would make the first assumption that it's all bull. You have to be humane. You have to be a human being first, and then a searcher second. And if at some point you can prove it to be as you're saying, then that's the case. But human first and searcher second. Yeah, I'm not going to be happy if my solve is wrong, because it means, firstly, that I misinterpreted what Forrest said, and if I believe that Forrest is correct, you know, I'm trying to use the information that Forrest gave, so I'm going under the assumption that if I'm incorrect, then Forrest was a bad teacher, and I don't believe that's the case. I think, or a um, bad, 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 bad giver of knowledge, and way too much imagination. Yeah, again, human first, and then chase community member second. So in the first instance, prayers and condolences and that, and then it's possible that things aren't what they seem, and this is part of. But then you have to wonder why. Why would it be? What is the connection between the chase and the son of somebody who is a searcher? Thanks, imagination, and the same goes to you. Yeah, I hope we do chat again. Obviously, there are some people that it is easier to chat to than others because it's a chat and it's not an argument or a debate. It's just two people exchanging information as opposed to two people arguing about the information they're exchanging. So some chats are easier than others. But I thank you for shown you support and being here. Yeah, I think most people are in that boat, Justin, and I have no reason to believe that your solve is not the correct solve. It's as simple as that. I have no reason to believe it's not correct because I'm not Forrest Fenn and I don't have the answers I already know that he put in the poem. So, or the answer. He said it didn't matter either. It didn't matter whether it was the answer I already know or the answers I already know because it doesn't affect the solve. So all that means is that the S that's there doesn't affect the solve. Or it means that there is only one answer in that part of the poem. Now, the poem has to be at least two things. It has to be a simple solve and a difficult but not impossible solve. Has to, because those are the words from Forrest Fenn himself. And as the synonym goes, has to be straight from the horse's mouth. So there has to be a why didn't I think of that solve? Now, from all accounts, your solve is a lot harder than why didn't I think of it? Although, I don't know, the total ins and outs of it. But I do know it is in the poem as a potential answer. Dave, man from the East, his solve is not a simple solve. And nobody's going to think, why didn't I think of that? Same with try the wheel. They're not going to think, why didn't I think of that? I'm not saying it's wrong, but they're not going to say that. Because that means sliding the lines, doing everything that they've done, then going outside of the poem, doing some internet research, etc., 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 and trying to find the five waters. Sorry, that's in the poem. The five springs connection to that, and the cipher solve, same thing. Have to go outside of the poem to get an answer. So if Forrest said all you need is a poem, then once you go outside of the poem, you make Forrest a liar. I don't think Forrest is a liar, so I think that the answer has to be in the poem, or the information to give you the answer, and then you have to go from there. And that's how I see it, and that's how I looked at it. And I threw out brilliant solves, absolutely brilliant solves, but they didn't tick all the boxes. And you have to start again. Well, they say that they spoke to a female, which the way they made it sound was it wasn't too far away from where the body was found. I was dead before I left. Not sure how to take that, Bill. I'm not sure how to take that. Although, if you believe in reincarnation, then that would be the case, wouldn't it? But then you would say you lived before, which apparently is happening. These children are remembering past lives, talking about them. Hey, pirate, how you doing? What's the wow for? I was talking about you earlier. You are a synonym of commit fraud. Did you know that? So therefore, Joss is labelling you as commit fraud. Is that your original name? I don't think so. So I did the synonyms to commit fraud earlier on, and talked about. I didn't talk about. I had the word rob, disinherit, bereave, help, claim. Words that are used in the chase quite blatantly in order to give information. And I believe that Forrest made the statement there to aid the finder because, or the solver, not the seeker, because only that person would be, is the word in tune I want? In tune with what was being said? Could be. Treasure Poe make the statement, what has Taylor Swift got to do with the chase? Well, if you read the poem, you'll see that her name and her family's in there. And, you make the same argument for D.B. Cooper, you make the same argument for Billy the Kid. People that are mentioned in the chase are in the poem. That's what they've got to do with the chase, because they're in the poem. Yeah, Pirate's the main man. Him and Indy are the only people that have the wrench. So be careful what you say when Pirate's there, because he has a wrench and he knows how to use it. That if he is a he. He may be a she, he may be a they, he may be, whatever the terms are nowadays, I don't know. And I'm probably shooting myself in the foot by saying these things. Power to all our friends. That's what Cliff Richard said. So, that is correct. I feel like I have given it to Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. No, I don't think Pirate has done anything wrong to deserve a plank. So, yeah. That would be too far to walk, wouldn't it? A long walk off a short plank would be too far to walk. And even that was a synonym. Commit fraud. Walk. Not far, but too far to commit fraud. Don't break the rules, but I'm sure as hell bend them. Just paraphrase. So I believe anybody who truly is a treasure hunter and believes that Forrest did something will, follow in those footsteps. And well, we've got no ship yet. You were going to get a ship, weren't you? So we're all swimming. Hi, Hercules. How you doing? Hercules is a synonym as well. So you're a name that's in A, the poem, and B, the synonyms. So, people like, who do people like? Digging, Lucky, I don't know. Does that mean I've forgotten them all? Bill's definitely in there. Street's definitely in there. Cynthia's definitely in there. You wouldn't believe that, but Cynthia is a synonym. The names are words. Carl is a synonym. Carl is definitely a synonym. That's interesting. Hi, John. How you doing? Good to read you. Apparently, it's awesome. Have you got your snorkel with you, pirate? Not doing the swimming that the Goonies did. What does the word power mean in regards to the government? You'll have to ask Ashley that. She's a power. You have a snorkel in your truck. For one person, oh, I'm trying to work out which is the power is supposed to be the people. The word power, by the people, for the people. You have the power to act. At my beach though. You're not one of them people who put them on the seats at 6 o'clock in the morning so other people can't get them, are you? Let's get back from hunting flies. Hope you're not hunting Ben's flies. Says you're still doing the full of the chase jump if you're hunting flies. Yes, Ben's flies. Ugly is it rolled up? Don't know what that word is. It's like iron. Fe. There, and the flies will leave you alone, John. Well, I don't know. Some of the people that I don't mean John, but you know, anybody out there. Hi, Hush. Anybody out there? The amount of shit that they talk will attract most flies. And you know, shit is gold. So, who was it? Rick again, Rick Novak. Crock of shit just means a pot of gold. So, you know, one person's crock of shit is another person's, pot of gold. River bathing is best, apparently. You only have to move a little bit. Yeah, see, I don't know, but the rivers in England, they don't have the same appeal. They don't. Where is it? Is it Luley? The river that she was looking at was so blue, it was like looking at the ocean. There's always there's always a secret alignment to something that's said in chat. The heck is that? First time I've seen that. Who's doing that? All these smiley faces bouncing around. Oh, that's cool. I've never seen that before. And 100. Who's the clever person that did that? There's always something. Bill has two different fonts of knowledge. He has his soul font, and then he has chase font knowledge. And, you know, it's like dope. The white rabbits are talks. Was it you, Scotty, that? How did you do that? First time I've seen it, and it's very cool. You know, it takes me one more time to try and find an emoji, let alone to all. I'm not too good with these computers, but because mine is working overtime all the time, trying to do anything takes forever, and my stream is all choppy and bitty. And I keep saying I'm going to get a new one, but I keep putting it off. But one day, he says. Anyway, it's in the new day, 18 minutes past 12 in the morning, and I have to be up in 4 hours and about 20 minutes. Not much sleep, which is silly me. Where am I from? I am, I don't know how precise you want me to be, but I'm from the UK in England. Um, Originally, mum and dad are from Italy. I'm not sure which bit that you want me to. Difficult question. Where are you from? Like, where do I originate from? Where am my family from? I mean, excuse me. Isolated word in the Middle East. Yes. So you had the Declaration of Independence that, and the Bill of Rights and those sort of things that gave you, no, yeah, gave you the power to govern through your elected officials. Doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So the power for the government, excuse me, in my opinion, I don't know, not American, has been taken out of the hands of the people and given to the elected officials, which is what I was saying the other day about Joe Biden coming in doing 17 changes to whatever was going on around there. It's like, that didn't go through the people. Just one man swiping a sword at everything and saying, this is how it's going to be now. Yes, unfortunately, I'm an alien to the US. That's how people see me. If you're not a US citizen, you are an alien. No, and that's what I see from the outside. Trusted. I don't see that it's in line with the Declaration of Independence at all. Um, I'm not sure about which one is being used and which one, or what the other one says, but all accounts there is a different one, and I still think it was meant to be the same stuff. Lost soul. I used to be tired. Really. You almost sound like a lost shoe. Yeah, I know it was in line. Trusted. Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, mm, or Arthur and his. You need somebody who will allow the people to, you know, live as they're supposed to live. I suppose if you needed Arthur, then you would need Merlin as well. But thank you for your prayers. Welcome to I felt enlightened a long time ago. To be fair, the the enlightenment that I'm getting now is that other people are, you know, part of what makes it happen. and not as resistant. So that helps. Happier that Forrest is not um, Smoozer. Did he say he was? He's not the villain. Why not the cannonball? Yeah, that's the point I was making, Trusted. It's like a vote of no confidence. You, you know, sorry, but you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, so cheery ho. You are a product of our imagination, and that people are ignorant. Ah, I don't mind being a product of imagination. I do mind being a figment. Um, it's difficult to see how things will change, but going back to what Bill was saying about the French, refugees, etc. I don't see how someone being executed, going out and rioting and stealing and vandalising stuff has a very good impact. That to me takes away everything that's just happened. You know, definitely, something needed to be done, but I think they just use it as an excuse to steal stuff, and that's crazy. Blow up stuff and break stuff. And, I read about that. The Was that your lot, was it? So somebody managed to get all the way there. To be fair, did I read about that? I can't even remember what I read about that. But they did get to England, to be fair, and then they went back. I can't remember what actually happened, but I do remember reading about it. Uh oh, Trusty found a way to correct the issue. Well, I wish you all luck on that because a good America is a good globe. Paul James, I think that was the name. Memory serves. He went to the north of England, didn't he? If I remember correctly. Um, and we had a good navy then. He got in, he got back out. Ah, there's a date. 2025. Hmm. Don't know that name. Let's forgive me for that. See, Joe Biden was up to his is being interviewed and just walked off. There's something wrong there. And there probably are people that stick up for him and vote for him, but I'm sorry, if that was my granddad or someone, I'd be concerned. I'd have him checked up. And I'm not being horrible. It's a concerned statement that this person is not acting as though he is all that, to be fair. So, I'm an alien to the US, but with the weak United States, the countries in other parts of the world are braver than they would otherwise be. Uh-oh. Beware of the crocodile with those jaws. What pretty little teeth you have. Well, I remember the vote, and I remember Arizona going up against saying that were shenanigans. And you can see all these things happening, and it went nowhere. And it's so hard to believe that I don't know, I just don't get it. I don't get the world we live in anymore. And it's hard to believe, it's hard to believe anything. Even the news is all. Need to apply. Uh-oh. But you didn't, I mean, I don't know. It might just be me. There are two people who possibly could be the president of the United States. One of them doesn't seem like he has a clue, and the other, lots of people love, and some people don't. Now, I don't know if I don't know. I just don't get it. Miles ahead, and then it just changed. Yeah, that's a good statement. And that wasn't done fairly, but whilst I don't care that they voted for Joe Biden, obviously, because I don't live in America, it's hard for me to believe that more people voted for him, even if you didn't like Trump. Even if you didn't like Trump, you would have to be crazy not to vote for what Joe Biden stood for, but to vote for that person. No, sorry, I couldn't. Even if I didn't like Donald Trump, that man that couldn't get his words out, didn't know what day it was, should never have won. And I'm an Englishman talking about two Americans who, neither of them I know, but one of them I can see seems to be suffering from something that doesn't give him full access to what he's thinking. You know, even if I can't remember her name now, but even if she took over, that would have made more sense to me. Hold on. Success for Alan. I thought it was Richard Branson. I thought he shot them into space. Or is he part of Elon Musk's, space thing? But it's under the name Virgin, isn't it? Then. Oh, pirate! You're attracting stuff. What is that? Branson does not orbit. I thought it was them going into space. Actually going into space. Space flight. First space flight. Right, and you are going to lose internet from me because it's 25 to 1. I need to go to sleep and I'm talking about stuff I don't even know because I'm not an American. So I appreciate you listening to me babble on. Not Babylon, like, the place Babylon. But the Babbling Brook type thing. Ah, that one. Today. And yeah, okay. Yeah, I know nothing about nothing, so I knew Bill would put me right. Yeah. Onwards and upwards, literally. Star Trek, here we come. We only need Artemis to put all those things out there and get us some communication stuff and etc. And then we're on our way. Scotty, Warp, Enterprise, Vulcans, and all those other Klingons and stuff like that soon. What was his name? I can't remember. Come on, there must be some Star Trek fans in there. Well said, trust me. Why didn't I think of that? What was his name? First bloke who did Warp in Star Trek. Deck? X something. Zach? I can't remember. He did it anyway. Or forever. Ooh. I think there's two B's there. Confusing me now. Zach. Oh, I can't remember what his name is in Star Trek. But he did the first Warp. Doodah. I think we're not too far away from that. Ooh, it's getting too political now. Thanks for tuning in. 24 people and 3 likes. Thank you. Do appreciate you being here. Like I say, this was in response to Josh using my videos and being nice to me, to be fair, saying nice things. But I just wanted to put on record the reason why I said those things is because, to commit fraud is not necessarily to commit fraud, but to do the other things that Forrest has talked about as well. So I try to give both sides of the coin as opposed to one side and just hope that people understand what it is that's being meant. Uh-oh. Here we go. Oh. Wow. That's chase stuff, that is. Wow. It's definitely chase related, that is. There in the poem, JP Morgan. chase. Yeah. We are all friends here. As far as I know, we are anyway. And I've no ill feelings towards anybody. Every stranger is a possible soulmate, possible friend for life. No, that's someone was saying that Forrest said the chase was over, but I don't think that's what it meant. Well, are you on about Wayne or are you on about JP Morgan? I mean, both, the same sort of thing. I thought we were getting along. Well, I'm not sure anybody's falling out. Oof. Thank you, Hercules. And you sound like imagination of innocence. But thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely. It'll last 1,000 years. I think Melinda, pretty much stated that you know, it's not the chase they saw the quarry, but the quarry. Um, this person that died drove around in an armored car, and they still got him. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate everybody coming in and chatting, and well, most importantly, listening in the first place. The what I say is not to try to convince anybody I'm correct. It's try to um, put a point of view across that I think Forrest was helping to solve his poem and giving information to everybody in how to do that. And some of the information that comes out is not necessarily, as I said in my own videos, the information you receive may not be the information you're being given. So, you have to be aware of the substitutes, which is what Forrest said, which is basically synonyms, in my opinion. Well, according to Ha 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 and some of the other treasure hunting books, is Forrest all of these people? Did he, do the things that he hasn't been attributed to yet? And I trust your opinion, Hercules. But this month, I don't know, 31 days is it? 29 more days to go. I'd be happy with that. I think Hercules is the wise one. He said it ends this month, in my opinion. Lee Harvey Oswald. I saw a picture of Fairbanks, Douglas Fairbanks. I didn't realise that he looked a bit like Lee Harvey Oswald. Just if you glance quickly. Oh, Not sure if you're saying D.B. Cooper, Lee Harvey Oswald. Thanks, Pirate. You're a good person. And doing some good monitoring. With or without the plank or the ship. Thanks, Ozo. Appreciate you being here. It's all good. I don't know which one. Which one is the timeline? Is it Ha Ha Ha, which is D.B. Cooper, or is it Lee Harvey Oswald, which is Kennedy? Or are they both the wrong timeline? First, I'm just a patsy. Yep. Yep. So Oswald first. Don't forget Jack. He was involved in that as well. Mr. Ruby. Ruby, 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 Ruby. And the three vagrants. Don't forget them. And the lady in the umbrella coat. That time traveler. Well, when you say people, surely you mean one person? Or do you mean two people? Or do you mean lots of people? Oh, it looks like DB. No, definitely not DB. Wrong timeline. Not that old, thanks. I'd have been 8. I was born in 63, so I didn't shoot Kennedy then. And I didn't jump out of a plane at 8 years old. But, I probably would have lost my hair though, thinking about that jump. I'm like, oh, God. That sun jump in the dark. But me, I think, if it was me, at 8 years old, I'd be thinking, well, I'll tell you what, I'll wait till it's going to land, and then I'll jump, because the jets would have gone. And I'll jump when it's going to land. That'd be the easiest way to do it. That's what I think, anyway. Or it'll be like that person that, he jumped, the bag was upside down, and as he was coming down, all the money was falling out and going everywhere. And he lost £22 and didn't know it. You never know. All right, I appreciate everybody being here. It's late. Thank you very much. I don't know. I think K-Pro and them are going to do another video today. That's all. That's all first. In the Buddha. Thanks, Azul. I needed that. I lost £40. I wish I could lose some pounds. Not much room for manoeuvre there. So good luck with that. Dave Woodard. I think I said to Rick Novak because he spelled it Woodward. Dave might sue now for spelling his name wrong. So, yeah, thanks everyone. Take care. But I was laughing at half the time. Don't forget Artemis is doing their bit to get to space. For the, what's it called? What do you call it when it's the ultimate goal? Apart from the ultimate goal. The Holy Grail. The Holy Grail. Get somebody on the moon again. Don't forget them. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Appreciate the chat. Be safe. Be good to each other.